Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your friend Tony here. Look, to be honest, I'm just a little burnt out on this depressing cruise news. It's really dipping my spirits down into a negative place, so I thought instead of busting out all the cruise news today, we would just randomly make fun of people in a generic way. That should be good for the spirit. It's not that nefarious. Let's just update the bad cruise passenger list. Yeah, we'll do that. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Lido Loca. About, I don't know, a year and a half ago, I made out a list of 15 annoying cruise passengers. Now, I didn't call anybody by name. These were more just tropes. These were more just ideas of cruise passengers that we've all seen on cruise ships. And it was very cathartic. It felt good to get it off my chest. Now, at the tail end of that video, there were people that said, well, you missed a few. And I'm like, yeah. And now we've gone through 2020 and we've had more time to think about it. And maybe it's time to update that list. Let me first give you the 15 that are already on the list. I will leave a link in the description and above for that video, but I'll quickly run through them. The line cutter, the chair saver, the secret smoker, the hall runner, the hall talker, the elevator blocker, the crop duster. That one stinks. The noise polluter, the belligerent drunk, the food waster, the seat saver, the intentionally late, the cruise expert, the loud complainer, and the show talker. So that was the list from last year. It's weird. I'm a fairly positive guy, but people like to talk about negative stuff. Well, one thing that we can talk about that's certainly positive is an invitation. My invitation to you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you like all things cruising and you want to be in the know, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. Those were the 15 categories we laid out back in June of 2019. And yeah, again, I think it's time to update this list. There's going to be a couple on the new list that may not even apply when cruising starts again, but let's take a moment to acknowledge these bad cruise passengers. First up is the line boss. I didn't even know that this existed until I went on a cruise on MSC in 2020. This is a 2020 update, and there was a line boss. Now, it wasn't anybody that the cruise line had appointed to make sure that everybody followed the line etiquette. But what I'm talking about is an individual who is keenly aware of when everybody has arrived to get in line for something. And they're okay being vocal about it. No, the line's back there. You weren't here when we were here. Go over there. Have you ever run into this person? I tell you, look, as somebody that benefited from their work, I was excited. If I was just somebody who popped off an elevator a little bit confused as to where to go to get off the cruise ship or where to go to get to my seat at the show, and the first thing that I encountered was some passenger all of a sudden telling me, you know, my business, it's a little rude, right? A little rude. The line boss. Number two, and I mean no disrespect with this, but it's the absentee parent. The great thing about going on cruising, especially if you have kids, is they have things for your kids. They have kids clubs that you can stick them in. You can do all kinds of stuff with your kids, but at the end of the day, they're still your kids. If your kids are running up and down the hallway at 12:30 at night while you're sleeping off the drinking that you did, it's not good. I know it takes a village, but I don't need to be corralling your kids while you're still throwing the hot dice in the casino at 2 a.m. It's rude. Another extremely annoying cruise passenger, especially if you're traveling with them, is the constant complainer. Like, I understand a complaint here or there. Not everything's going to be perfect, but is everything going to be imperfect? It took too long to get on the cruise ship. The line of guest services is too long. This food's not very good. The show is boring. The too many waves on the ocean. I don't like this port of call. I don't. Really? Like, everything? Come on. Like, I think that if you're on vacation, you should you should have like a number of complaints you can have a day. That way you have to think about them and you have to use them wisely. Let's say maybe 2 complaints, 3 complaints at the most. But if everything that you encounter on the cruise ship seems horrible to you, you may be the horrible one. I hate to put it out there like that, but that's true for most things in life. If you are the common denominator of every negative thing that you encounter, it's time to get a mirror. I'm just saying, man, is no fun if you're cruising with the constant complainer, and a lot of times the constant complainer doesn't know that they're that person. And so if you see your friends and family looking at you like this while you're just trying to get your shrimp cocktail and you're complaining because there's no chopped horseradish in the cocktail sauce, if your friends are over there going, oh my gosh, really? You're giving them a bad time. Don't be a constant complainer. Now this one's interesting for 2020, certainly true in 2019. Patient zero. Now the person that you had to look out for in the past was the person that may have gotten on the cruise ship while they were sick, and they just kind of breezed through that health screening process. Oh, I feel fine. And then they're there like coughing over the food, or coughing on the handrails, and all of a sudden you go home and you got the cruise crud because patient zero got on board because they didn't want to lose out on their cruise fare, which is understandable. But a lot of times you get a little sick, not because the cruise ship wasn't clean, just because some yahoo who shouldn't have got on the cruise ship because they were a little sick, they were on the cruise ship, and now a lot of people are sick. But yeah, patient zero may not even apply going forward, but one that definitely should be on the list: don't get on the cruise ship if you are sick. That's a good rule of thumb. And don't suck your thumb. That's another good rule of thumb. Another addition to our bad cruise ship passenger list is the food toucher. Now again, this person may not even exist when cruising resumes again, but there's plenty of stories of people reaching into the buffet or grabbing a Danish with their hands out there at one of these self-service places. And I'm sure there's even examples of people reaching across the table and manhandling somebody's prime rib in the main dining room. At the end of the day, food is not meant to be touched with the hands for the most part on the cruise ship. They got utensils, they got tongs, they got all kinds of stuff to make sure that you're just not putting your grimy paws on the communal food. And yeah, so if you are a food toucher, you gotta push back on that impulse just to grab the food. Find the appropriate utensil. Now the like tongs are probably even gross. Maybe grab your own fork. I don't know. But again, I don't think it's going to be a concern when we go cruising again, because a lot of those scenarios are going away. But you might be one of those people that are like, okay, well, even though the buffet's gone, I'm going to go grab some food off of somebody's room service tray. Just don't do that. That would be rude. Do not do that. A rude cruise passenger is the food toucher. So we've added 5 people to our list of 15. That brings us up to 20 bad cruise passengers. And now, if we will, let's look forward into the future. Let's contemplate what may be a bad cruise passenger when cruising resumes. There's 2 that come to mind. First of all, the rule breaker. There's going to be more rules on cruise ships in the beginning of cruising. We all accept that. We all know that. And, look, I'm a contrarian. I don't like authority. I tend to push back, to buck up against when somebody's telling me what to do. And I think there's a lot of people like that. And it's just not going to play well on the cruise ship. But look, we go cruising. We cruise as a community. We don't really cruise as individuals because we're all there on the ship together. And so if you're, don't be a rule breaker. Just follow the rules. It's going to make it a lot easier, because there's another rude cruise passenger that's going to be cruising when cruising resumes. That's going to be the hall monitor. You thought that the person that was watching the people getting in line is bad. There's going to be people getting on these cruise ships that are going to be looking at everything and ready to pop off at the rule breaker. They're going to be ready to pop off at the crew staff if they don't feel like the crew staff is doing the right thing. So it's going to be an interesting mix when cruising starts up again. You're going to have, of course, the rule breakers. You're going to have the hall monitors, and it's going to be like a war there. But you know who's going to benefit? The people watchers. And maybe people watchers are rude cruise passengers too, but I do think that part of the cruise experience, part of what you get when you paid your money, is the ability to watch other people lose their minds. And so these are the people that benefit. Look, bad cruise ship passengers is part of that cruise life, man. You just gotta love it, because there's nothing else you can do about it. Maybe not be one of them. Try that. Who did I leave off the list? Leave a comment below. Let's continue the conversation. Thank you so much for watching the show today. Please show your support by hitting the like button. This is Tony with Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.